Just for the fans and the Springfield people and people that care about Missouri State football, if you want a true pulse of who the men in that locker room are and the people in our organization, after a hard-fought win, our organization sat on the tarmac in whatever part of Iowa we were in for about 5 or 6 hours on the buses, got them pizza delivered, and I could not be more proud of the way we conducted ourselves. Not a single negative remark from our football team, staff, anyone along with the travel party. No one was tweeting ridiculous things. No one was, pressed about anything. They kept their joy. They stayed together and made the most out of each situation. I know people from the outside in think that's a little thing, but that has everything to do with our 6-2 record. It has everything to do with who these men are, how they play the game, how they care about each other, how they handle themselves on and off the field. So if you are looking for a reason to become a fan of football or a fan of team sports, you've got it. Come wrap your arms around these young men in this locker room because they are one of the best groups I've been around. So anyways, on to the game. Battle, what a shootout. Again, I enjoyed going to the Unidome. I think our team embraced it. It was sunny and 70 in the dome, so it was a nice day for the Bears. Offense was as efficient as it's ever been as usual, putting up big points. Jacob was efficient. Finally got the running game and the balance we were looking for in that regard. Our Thunder and Lightning were really working. Jacardier and Jab had a really, really strong night led by the offensive line, making sure that we were able to, create some running lanes and they were able to hit them and accelerate. Defensively, got some things to clean up. Obviously wasn't the best performance on defense, but it's curable. It's things that, little runs weren't fit right. You don't want to give up the chunk yardages on the runs. And then, as the head coach, the fourth down for the touchdown Hail Mary is totally on me. No one else but myself. I take full accountability for that, and that will be cleaned up and hopefully never happen again as long as I'm the head coach. Got an exciting game. Home game this weekend against SIU. Rick mentioned that it is the honoring the Hosting Heroes Day, and make no mistake about it, myself, everyone at Missouri State, we support our military. We live in the best country in the world, and it's not even close. We support the police. We support firefighters, first responders, because they are very, very important people for this community and nationwide.
Coach, you got here a little late, but Corey did plenty of complaining about the airport situation.
It was just a retelling of a story.
Well, he hasn't got the opportunity to be molded by some of our team working events and our fifth community programs and our fifth quarter programs. So I'm going to let that slide, but we can get him worked into those.
A few casters or something.
Yeah, make him work out.
And you had a great day from your offense, near perfect in that second half. Just how have you gone back and assessed things defensively when you go back and look at the film?
Yeah, I think, me and Coach Farley talked before the game, and I just shook my head about, some of their travel woes and the schedule they had, because that's a good football team. They understand how to move the ball offensively. They got a big, aggressive offensive line. Number 2 and number 5, I think they had their best days yet. And we were misfitting some counters. We had bodies there. We just, over and over this season, you hear us talk about efficient tackling and getting guys down on first contact. It did not happen the whole first half, all the way up to the end of the game. We have to make sure that we continue to get that addressed and make sure we tackle with our chest and get people on the ground.
The flip side, offensive line has a lot to do with being able to go for that good of a running game. Just best game of the year from that group. Just what are you seeing from the offensive line this late in the year?
I think they were tremendous. I think they've got a really good sense of self in regards to what they do well, and I think Nick has just been calling gems of games. I mean, he knows the strengths and weaknesses of our offensive line, our running backs, our wide receivers, our every single person involved in the offense. He knows when we're doing things well and the calls to get us in the best situation. And again, it was a really, really good day to see the running game come to life.
Coach, before the last drive, I think they got one more third down conversion there. Northern Iowa was running at about 50% on third down conversions. It just seemed like it was a struggle defensively to get off the field at times. Does the missed tackling or maybe it seemed to me maybe there was more hits than tackling.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the not being able to get off the field part, and I was a little bit like you after the game, I was interested in the numbers, and we held them to almost 35% third down efficiency, or 40%. I think our issues became on the first and second down explosives more so than the third, but the issue, and that made it so glaring, is that the third and fourth down that we did not get off the field were huge plays for explosives, and that's one thing you cannot have. We've done a good job of that up to this point, limiting explosive plays, keeping the ball in front, but we were not good this weekend, and we'll have that addressed by Saturday.
At the same time, I mean, if you're not good, but you still get the W.
Winners find a way to win, and that's what these guys are. They, when you go into the halftime 21-21, you're hearing the right things from our team. You're seeing composure. You're seeing guys that know we're going to win the game. It's just a matter of time and doing what it takes to win. Again, I bragged on the locker room and what it's been like. It was the same way. Anytime you can get out of half 0-0, new game, we got life, and we were able to get it done.
So in Illinois, I think they beat Incarnate Word early. It seemed like they were always steady, but they kind of dropped off. So what do you kind of see from that?
Yeah, I like Nick Hill a lot. He's a really good coach. He's going to have them ready. I can promise you that. It's going to be a tough football game on Saturday. They've had the injury bug a little bit at some crucial spots. Their quarterback went down early. Their second quarterback went down. Their third quarterback broke their leg. He's been dealing with a lot of issues, and the fact that they haven't quit, that they're still fighting, that they're still playing hard. I can promise you the message in our locker room is finding a way to go 1-0 to beat a good competitive SIU team.
What do you make of that quarterback? The quarterback that played this past week retired over the offseason. Now he's a defensive grad assistant. Now he's being pressed into action. Just what do you see from him in the film you've watched so far? And kind of a strange story.
I think it's super impressive. I think Coach Wes Satterfield actually recruited him. I might be mistaken, but I think he signed with Cincinnati and then transferred to SIU. Is that correct? And honestly, just to keep your body in that good of shape to come back into college football and take the hits that these guys deliver on a day-to-day basis, hats off to him. I looked at Drew Zabi, who's one of our quality control analyst guys, and I said, hey, man, that would be you. And, I don't know if I would feel as comfortable with Drew Zabi as I do with Jacob Clark, But, again, it's making the most out of every situation that you get. And Nick is a tremendous coach. He's a good man. He's a good family man. And I know he's doing every single thing he can to make sure to put his guys in the best position possible.
Ryan, it's been a while since this program has been at the level it's at right now. Is keeping everybody grounded, is that a challenge week to week?
I think it creeps in at times, but I don't think with our team it's been as big of an issue because we lucked out. In the preseason camp, we talked about going 1-0 each week. We talked about finding a way to do exactly what we needed to do during the week to focus on us. I think if you can continue to improve, which we have weekly, obviously you're going to have setbacks, but if you can continue to keep it about you and can improve, it keeps practice steadier, it keeps the energy up, it keeps everything going well because, you got a lot to play for. We don't have the playoffs to look forward to. This is our playoff run, and we're approaching it as such. And our players have a great mentality, and they're ready to go keep competing.
How have you avoided complacency? During a long streak like this, we've seen it in the past where you guys will drop a game you're probably not supposed to, but you guys haven't shown any signs of that throughout this. And you win these next two games, and you guys have a share for the MFC the Valley title. At North Dakota State. Just how have you kept that from complacency from happening?
Yeah, we've got tremendous leadership from within. Those players understand what has worked for us here. And what has worked for us is staying in the moment and making sure that we respect and appreciate each opponent. There's a saying that's great. You have the confidence to know that you can beat anyone, but you're humble enough to understand that anyone can beat you on any given day. And it's easier being in the Valley. We talk to coaches around the country, and some coaches, you got 2 or 3 bye weeks built in the season when you're actually playing on Saturday. We don't have that luxury. And these guys that have been in the Valley for a long time understand that, and I think that helps us keep a sharp edge.
Can you talk about just that, the Valley, you went and knocked off Northern Iowa, you got another rival Salukis last time through. Do you push with these guys? Do you kind of remind them a little bit of the history going through here?
Yeah, I try to find a way to push some buttons every week in our Friday conversations before the game. If we feel any sense of slipping or, guys getting a little lethargic, we make sure we bring them back in and understand, to be successful, there's an extreme amount of sacrifice, hard work, and dedication. And, we oftentimes remind them of exactly what it took in our winter program when you're out there at 5 a.m. There is no indoor. You're sitting there doing drills on the ground, on the turf when it's wet and cold, and they're college kids. There's a chance they'd rather be back up in their house, playing some 2K, relaxing, doing something else. But they're a different breed, man. That's why winning is hard. We will celebrate every win, no matter who it's against. 1-0 is a butt kicking. All right, so the scores are what they are. We're going to continue this trend of winning. And again, I said it last week, the new era of Missouri State football is here.
Relevant football in November. It's only happened. This is probably the second time since 1990 that this has happened. Do you see a difference between where you guys were, just kind of feeling wise, compared to just a year ago when you guys were probably ruled out of the playoffs and forgotten a few games?
Yeah, 100%. I think there were times that we've been here when we first got here, even recent years, that there's a chance at halftime we go in and we don't adjust like we should, and we lose that game at UNI. Again, I think it's a process of how we've grown as men, how we've matured, how we handle success, handle failure, and you just need a taste of success to know that that's how you want to continue going forward, and winning is fun.